up and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you all my eyeshadow palettes because I'm going to recreate this eyeshadow palette tag. This kind of video was originally started by Allie Glines and Samantha, and I really didn't want to do this kind of video because I only have 10 eyeshadow palettes, so definitely less than all the other big YouTubers out there with 100 plus eyeshadow palettes. So I really didn't know if this kind of video would work also with only 10 eyeshadow palettes. But then so many of these videos have been recommended to me by YouTube, and then I just thought, okay, maybe the universe or YouTube wants you to do this video. So that's the reason why we are here today. And I just took the template of Allie Glines with all the different categories, but I've changed them a little bit because I just wanted to do it in my style, a little bit different to all the other videos. And of course, before we get started, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because we're new to 500 subscribers and I'm planning to do a huge giveaway when I'm reaching this milestone. And also don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you always get notified when I'm uploading a new video. And now, without further ado, let's get started. So the first category is the newest palette, and that's definitely the Royal Idols eyeshadow palette from Catrice. I got this as a birthday present in January, and as you can see it has 30 different shades and a big mirror, so a very big eyeshadow palette. And I've used it now a couple of times and I just love it. This is definitely an eyeshadow palette that I love reaching for because of so many different reasons. First, all the colors are very good pigmented and also blend out very well. The shimmer in the shimmery shades is amazing, and you really don't need a fixing spray or water on the brush to make them even more shimmery because they're already extremely shimmery and also good pigmented. And I also like the fact that all these colors look very neutral, so you can create perfect everyday makeup looks. And also the texture of the eyeshadows, especially of the matte shades, is very soft, so not as powdery as many of my other eyeshadows. So let's move on to the next category, and it's the oldest eyeshadow palette. And that was pretty easy because that's the Zoeva Cocoa Blend eyeshadow palette. This was my first eyeshadow palette ever. I think I've bought it, that's pretty hard, I would say 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. So I have this now for a pretty long time, and I've mainly bought this because everybody in YouTube seemed to use this eyeshadow palette and also love this eyeshadow palette. So I decided, okay, let's give it a try. I think it was about 15 euros, so more on the affordable side. And of course, since this time I've bought and used so many different eyeshadow palettes, but I still love this one because you have the perfect colors for your crease. You have also black color, so you can also create a perfect smoky eye, or sometimes I also use this as my eyeliner. And all the colors are pretty good pigmented, also the black one. Of course, they are not comparable to, for example, a Jeffree Star palette where you dip in once and that's enough for your whole eyelid. That's not the case with this one, but I think there is also a price difference, so it's okay. But you can easily build them up, blend them out, that's no problem. Shimmery shades are good pigmented, but I would definitely recommend using a fixing spray or water on your brush just to make them a little bit more shimmery. That's definitely one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. So let's move on with the most expensive one, and that's for sure this one. That's from Vulgar, that pretty Birdie eyeshadow palette. And I think it looks pretty cute with this bird on it. And it also comes with a little mirror. And that's how it looks inside. I've bought this, I think, a year ago because I was looking for a more colorful eyeshadow palette because all my other eyeshadow palettes are more on the neutral side. And then I just saw this one, but the price was really bad. I can remember that it was about, I think, 40 euros. Something like this, and I bought it on sale, so it was a little bit cheaper, but the actual price was about 40 euros. I know that it's now a little bit cheaper, about 25 euros, because I've seen it now on the website, but when I bought it, it was pretty expensive. Yeah, and I think the colors look beautiful in the pan, and they also look good pigmented, but all the matte shades are not bad, but you really have to build them up to get a very strong and intense color. And also the pigmented shades are not bad. Yeah, they have a good pigmentation and they're also shimmery, but for me personally, nothing special. So I think the original price was too high, it was too expensive. So I personally think these eyeshadows are not bad, but I would say a normal drugstore price for 10 euros maximum would be definitely enough, because I have other eyeshadow palettes that I'm going to show you later that are better, way more affordable and better pigmented and everything. So I think there's no reason why this eyeshadow palette should be so extremely expensive. This was the most expensive eyeshadow palette that I own, and of course now I'm going to show you the most affordable one, and that's by far this limited edition palette called Glitterholic by Catrice. And unfortunately this is a limited edition, but I just love this eyeshadow palette for so many different reasons. There are a few reasons that I'm going to tell you later, because this little thing here also fits to other categories that I'm going to mention later. But for me personally, this is the perfect eyeshadow palette. You have a mirror, you have different shades. There are matte ones and also shimmery ones and a glittery one. That's so beautiful. As you can see, all the shades are a little bit darker, especially the matte ones. So I think this is the perfect palette for fall and winter time. And I think this was a limited edition for Christmas. And I've used this eyeshadow palette non-stop to create Christmas party eyeshadow looks. But now for the spring and summertime, I think that the colors are a little bit too dark. But I'm definitely going to use this again in the fall and winter time. So the next category is the perfect everyday eyeshadow palette. And that's pretty hard, because most of my eyeshadow palettes are more on the neutral side. So perfect for everyday makeup looks. But I finally picked this one. It's the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette, because it has all these brown natural shades, but it also has this peachy shade and a green one. So you have a little bit more color variety than, for example, in the Cocoa Blend palette. And I also like the fact that this eyeshadow palette offers matte shades and shimmery shades. The colors blend out very easily, and also the shimmery shades look good on the eyelid, but you can definitely build up the shimmer a little bit more if you're using fixing spray or water on your brush. So I think this is the perfect everyday eyeshadow palette with a little bit of color in it. But let's move on to the most colorful eyeshadow palette. And I was not sure which one to pick, because I've shown you the one from Pretty Vulgar before with all the greens and pink shades in it. But I finally decided to take another one with more brighter colors, because the colors from the Pretty Birdie palette are a little bit dark. So that's the reason why the most colorful eyeshadow palette is the Roxi Ride or Die palette by Makeup Revolution. So as you can see, pretty bright colors and also matte shades, shimmery shades, a big mirror. And I also like the packaging. I think it's very pretty. So I think the product itself looks amazing, very beautiful. But there are a few things that I don't necessarily like about this product. But all these things just fit in another category in this video. So just give me a second and I will tell you about all these eyeshadows later. Now I've got the eyeshadow palette with the best pigmentation and the best formula. Okay, let me correct myself. I've got two eyeshadow palettes. And the reason why I'm going to show you two eyeshadow palettes is just because one is a limited edition and it's again the one from Catrice. And the second is the one from BH Cosmetics, the Love in London eyeshadow palette. I just want to show you a product that is still available if you're looking for a good eyeshadow palette with a good formula and pigmentation. And like I've mentioned before, I'm so obsessed with this palette because all these colors are so extremely buttery and soft. These are definitely the softest eyeshadows that I've ever used. And all these eyeshadows remind me a lot of the Physicians Formula Butter Browser because it's also very soft and buttery. And also these eyeshadows from the BH Cosmetics one are very soft and buttery. Maybe a little bit less than these ones, but that's only the tiniest bit. And the eyeshadows of these palettes are definitely the most pigmented of all the eyeshadow palettes that I own. And if you apply them with your fingers, that's the best way to max out the pigmentation of all these colors. There's only one thing that I don't like about this Love in London eyeshadow palette, but of course this fits into another category, so I'm going to mention this later again. So next we've got the smallest palette, and you might have guessed it, it's of course this one by Catrice, because that's definitely the smallest and the travel friendliest eyeshadow palette that I own. And of course I'm also going to show you the biggest one, and that's definitely the Catrice Royal Idols eyeshadow palette. And I've already shown it to you before, so here's the difference. So this was pretty quick, so let's move on to the next category, and it's the eyeshadow palette that is worth the hype. So you already know that I'm obsessed with this palette, and the main reason why I wanted to have it was just because all the beauty YouTubers seem to have this eyeshadow palette, to love it, and I was just, okay, I'm a little bit of an advertising victim, so I need to have this. And yes, I 100% agree that this eyeshadow palette is worth the hype. So next I'm gonna show you the eyeshadow palette with the best memories. And to be honest, at the beginning I just wanted to cancel this category because I didn't think that there was a special memory that I had with an eyeshadow palette. But then I saw this one. This is the Zoeva Rose Golden eyeshadow palette. And the first thing that crossed my mind was me filming a makeup tutorial for this channel where I've used this eyeshadow palette. So this is definitely one of the most beautiful memories that I have in connection with my YouTube channel. And yeah, that's the reason why I've just picked this one. And I think all these colors look very natural, very beautiful. And you only have 3 matte shades, and all the other ones are shimmery shades. I like the texture because they are not too powdery. The matte shades are good pigmented, but it takes a while to build them up to get a very good and intense pigmentation, so similar to the Cocoa Blend one. And also the shimmery shades look beautiful, but you definitely have to use a fixing spray or water on your brush to make them look a little bit more foiled and to get a little bit more shimmer out of them. So I think this is the perfect eyeshadow palette for people who are looking only for a little bit of shimmer on the eyelids, not too much, or for people that just have started using eyeshadow and just want to play around with shimmery shades. But let's move on to the most used eyeshadow palette. And it took me about 20 minutes to figure out which eyeshadow palette I've used the most. And it was very hard to decide between the Cocoa Blend one and the Too Faced one. But I finally decided to take this one because I use this one, I would say, every second time when I apply eyeshadow. I'm reaching for it constantly. So I'm pretty sure that this is the eyeshadow palette that I've used the most. So let's move on to the best eyeshadow palette for beginners. And I think that I've already mentioned it, but it's the Zoeva Cocoa Blend palette. And I think it's not necessary to buy an eyeshadow palette for 50 bucks that is super good pigmented. And I think for me personally it would have been too overwhelming when I've started with an eyeshadow palette that is extremely pigmented, because I think that I had no idea how to blend it out or just how to build up the color. So I think personally this is the best eyeshadow palette to start with because the pigmentation is good, you can build up the colors, you can blend them out, so you really can play around with these colors. And also the shimmery shades are perfect to just play around and try out what are the best techniques to apply shimmery shades, how to make them more beautiful and more foiled and shimmery. So for me personally, this is definitely the best eyeshadow palette for beginners. But let's move on to the eyeshadow palette with the most fallout. And I told you I'm going to show you this eyeshadow palette again. And it's this one again from BH Cosmetics, the Love in London palette. I truly love it. I love the formula and the pigmentation. It's just insane. But the problem is that the shimmery shades, especially the dark ones and this blue one, have the most fallout of all the eyeshadows that I own. It's really horrible. So if you're buying this eyeshadow palette, make sure you do your eye makeup first and then the rest of your face, the foundation and so on, because it's not possible to remove it from your makeup without removing the whole foundation and concealer. That's something that I don't like about this palette. And there is another thing in connection with the fallout. All the shimmery shades start to move around your eye area if you're wearing them longer than, I would say, an hour. I haven't tried it out, but maybe a glitter glue underneath would help. I don't know. Be careful if you're using the shimmery shades. Now I've got 2 more categories left. That's not 2, that's 4. 2 more categories. And the first one is not worth the money. I've already mentioned that this pretty Birdie eyeshadow palette is not worth the money. But in this category, I just wanted to mention another eyeshadow palette because the pretty Birdie eyeshadow palette is not bad in general because the eyeshadows are okay, they are blendable and also good pigmented. You have to build up the matte shades, but that's okay. It's just the price that doesn't fit. But I think for this category, the next eyeshadow palette fits a little bit better. And it's again the Makeup Revolution Roxi Ride Dye palette. I really don't know where to start when it comes to this eyeshadow palette because I bought it because I instantly fell in love with all these bright matte shades and colorful matte shades. So I really love them. And on the back of my hand, they swatched beautifully. They looked so good. Then I did a whole eyeshadow look with mainly the brown colors for my crease and this red shimmery shade. And the matte shades have been quite good pigmented, but you also had to build them up to get a very strong color. And then I just wanted to use this one, and it was not possible to apply it with a brush, not possible to apply it with a wet brush. So the only possibility was to apply it with the fingers. And also this was nearly impossible. It was so hard to get this shimmery shade on my eyelid. And I really love the eyeshadow look. It turned out beautifully. And that's the reason why I've also included this eyeshadow palette in one of my favorites videos, because I've tried it out once and I thought, okay, it's a little bit hard to handle, but I like the result. But I was wrong. This yellow one and the orangey one, and also the pink ones are not really good pigmented because you really have to pack them on to get nearly such a beautiful color like in the pan, because on the eyelid it just fades away, so you really have to layer it up multiple times. But the brown shades for the crease have been okay, but the shimmery shades are... I don't know why, but I can't apply them with brushes, even if they are wet. It's impossible, and the only way to apply them is with the finger, and then you have a little bit of color, a little bit of shimmer on your eyelids, no matter how many times you apply these eyeshadows. So it's nearly impossible to bring the shimmery shades on your eyelid. These are definitely the worst shimmery shades that I've ever tried out. So this is definitely the one eyeshadow palette that is 100% not worth the money, even though it was not super expensive. Let's move on to the next category, and that's eyeshadow palette that is not worth the hype. At the moment when I read this category, I knew that it's going to be this eyeshadow palette. It's the BH Cosmetics Kali Bible palette. I don't know the name, there is no name on it. I bought this eyeshadow palette because when I started watching YouTube videos, that's years ago, so many YouTubers just raved about this palette and said that this is so beautiful, all the colors look so beautiful, and you can create so many multiple looks with this palette, but no. I don't know in which universe. I was pretty disappointed by this eyeshadow. Not right away when I just created my first 3 makeup looks with this, but then the disappointment started. The highlighters look beautiful. Really, I love the highlighters, especially this one. I've used it so many times and the pigmentation is beautiful. There is a very beautiful shimmer, no glitter in it. So these highlighters are amazing. But I don't want to buy an eyeshadow palette just to get good highlighters, because I can also buy a highlighter to have a highlighter. And then you've got the shimmery shades. They look so beautiful in the pan, but yeah, that's it. Because on the eyelids, the shimmer is gone, the pigmentation is gone. But the worst thing of this eyeshadow palette are the matte shades. Because you have 2 brown colors, they look a little bit different, and a light purple shade and a dark purple shade, but on the eyelids The brown shades look the same, the purple shades look the same, so no matter which eyeshadows you apply, your eyeshadow looks are going to look completely the same every time. So in my opinion, there is no way to create different eyeshadow looks with this palette. So I really don't know why this eyeshadow palette was so extremely hyped. So guys, now you've heard all about my eyeshadows, and I really hope you've enjoyed watching my own version of this eyeshadow palette tag. And yeah guys, thank you so much for watching. I wish you an amazing day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!